Oh, okay, here we go. Help if I actually had the microphone set up beforehand. One day, actually, I've been live. I've been on time in a couple of lives already. So, I have like one or two under the belt somewhere. They're normally if you notice, when I'm normally on time, it's because I have guests. Also because I'm messing with the microphone. Let me know after if it's good. Actually, I might unplug it. There we go. Right, microphone. Let me know how the sound is coming out. We should be good on TikTok. We're live on TikTok. Are we doing good? Excellente. Excellente. Right. Hello, guys. What are we? We're only... The original time was quarter past... The original time was quarter past 6. I reset it to like 20 past, then half past. And now, so we are... We're 35 minutes late, I think, if my maths. To be fair, my maths isn't amazing. But yes, as the title card says, we are going to look at, is there Brazilian, is there reptilian aliens in Brazil? The video I found, I was looking, because Pumpkin Bear suggested looking into Brazilian cryptids. When I did, I found a Joe Rogan video, which we may have a look at later. Yes, it's a little Wendigoon cryptid video down there. We may have a look at the Joe Rogan one later, but this one seems really unhinged. I've seen like the first 30 seconds, and I was like, this is what we're going to be looking at on Sunday. Yeah, no hate to the creator. I'm just shouting him out because obviously, in case you want to see their other work or you want to look it out, check it out themselves. But yeah, so I looked at the Brazilian cryptids, and then I discovered this entire thing of hyper sentient cryptids. Astral hypothesis, reptilian anthropomorphs. Oh, that, I'm not gonna lie, I read that as a very different word. Mythology and the CIA. I cannot wait for this one. So yeah, let's get back into it. Basically, the Joe Rogan one focuses on like an actual alien, like crash landing. So I don't know as much as what this one's going to focus on. But if you're on TikTok, make sure you share live, and if you're on YouTube, also make sure you share it out as well. Because getting it on YouTube is more important, because getting the watch hours up is what's going to get me monetized. Yeah, and don't worry, guys. I know it's been like a month since the last video, but there is video coming. I've got 2 in the works. I'm actually editing one on the movie The Whale as my first video in the historic cinema series, because obviously that's my degree. And I thought, I was gonna start looking. I'm gonna start like doing some cinema stuff, especially now I have less time due to work commitments. So we're gonna look at that. And then I've also got a video on the Selkies in the works, which I'm still researching. But yeah, those feds, exactly. The CIA, no matter where you go, they will find a way. They will find a way. It's like the Jurassic Park, which I am actually wearing Jurassic Park shirt for the Reptilians, but it's like just like Dr. Ian Malcolm says, it's not life, but it's not life finds ways. The feds find a way. Right. Let's see. The royal solicitors. Let's not get into that. I will look into that conspiracy if people demand it, but we'll see. Get me to 10k subscribers by the end of February and we'll see.
Mathematics has proven there to be upward of 11 spatial dimensions, of which our physical biology does not pick up on. We understand that the human eye only picks up a fraction of the...
Okay. How... Oh, no, we're barely in! How many dimensions are there? World is known 10 dimensions. Didn't he just say 11? That's the Smithsonian magazine. Okay. Or what are 26 dimensions? 4-dimensional. Okay. 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 So far. Okay. Okay. Imagine if all of this ends up being right. He just ends up being spot on everything. That's gonna be hilarious.
The entire spectrum of what can be seen. And as another decade goes by of not knowing anything about the origins of dark matter or the activity of dark energy, it is safe to say...
Yeah, that's a mixed thing. That's a mixed thing. With dark matter, it's less do we know the origins of them. It's more, I think it's either dark matter or yeah, like dark matter or the dark matter particles, like, we don't even know if they exist. They're just theorized or hypothesized to exist. This is actually more of a Count Daedalus question. Meridan over on TikTok, you love conspiracies, don't you? I love that you guys love me reacting to them and feeling abject pain as I watch them.
That a majority of what exists in the universe goes completely undetected to the normal human entity. If there are things outside
Was Mr. Burns there?
Of our 5 or 6 senses to detect, then surely this must also indicate that there is sentient life outside of our senses, as it would be ridiculous for consciousness to...
Okay. To be fair, thank you for the shares over on YouTube side, got Meridan and Peter Petrov. To be fair, that logic does carry out in a thought experiment. Yes, there could be life forms. You know, there's a common explanation for why we see demons and whatnot. Also, make sure that the audio is going good. Let me know if it goes wonky, guys. But yeah, thank you for sharing live over on YouTube and on TikTok, guys. Thank you very, very much. Get the word out. I think I shared it to everywhere. I'm fairly certain I've made everything public. Yeah, we're good. This is interesting. Yeah, okay, we're good. But yeah, no. So like in a thought experiment, he's not wrong here. This is actually sounding fairly sane so far. If he's being serious though about the higher dimension beings, I'd have a bit more of a question. Like hypothetically, it is possible, and obviously there could be, and like you wouldn't be able to see or like acknowledge in a physical reality. But then you get into like Alex Jones machine. In fact, guys, would you like me to look into like the Alex Jones machine elf stuff at some point? I would love to dive in to like Alex Jones level conspiracy theories, because they are they make flat earthers look. Yeah, I mean the machine elves and the giant praying mantis one. I remember an old Dankula interview. I might actually get that one up. It'll be the easiest one. But yeah, so like hypothetically in a thought experiment, there could be beings that you would not be able to physically acknowledge because they are on a plane of existence that you cannot perceive. This is a very religious argument, and there is some science behind it, but again, it's hypothetical, and this is like being pushed forward as the pursuit of knowledge. So I would like to see his evidence as we go on. I'm not going to judge him yet if he has actual evidence, because this is an actual YouTuber creating this content. And imagine if this is like my mind unveiled. This guy becomes my nemesis. I haven't got a YouTube nemesis yet. I need a YouTube nemesis. Everyone, like Aiden Mattis has got a YouTube nemesis. Count Daedalus has got a YouTube nemesis. He's got multiple YouTube nemesis. I need a YouTube nemesis, guys. Who would be my YouTube nemesis? Peter Petrov says, you are the best. Thank you very much. Over on YouTube, we've got Mula Sem Kabeka. I probably pronounced that horrifically. It's one of my favourites from my childhood. When I look into the Brazilian folklore, I probably will do it as individual episodes. I really want to do the Mapingauri, the one that everyone says is like the last giant ground sloth, because obviously, you know, it's an 8-man legend, and my big thing with cryptids is sea serpents and 8 men. It's my favourite things, which is why Wendigoon is wrong. Nessie should have been in S tier, and so should Owlman, because Owlman is categorically better than Mothman. That's you can clip that and send it to everyone. Owlman is better than Mothman, because Owlman is more realistic and makes more sense. Mothman's is just a giant moth that appears when bad things happen. Owlman's better. He chases people, and he's a bit weird. He's like Spring-Heeled Jack. I'm gonna upset so many people with that. Not even wait. We've been streaming for 10 minutes. Ancient Freya, hey, good to see you in the TikTok chat. Thank you for joining us. I'm subjecting myself to more conspiracy theories as we look into reptilians in the Amazon rainforest, which is yeah. My hypothesis with reptilian species, like would make sense around that period, and they often find those sort of mythologies appear on some border. They're less northern hemisphere stuff, and so possible timidly how it you could get like a group of large lizard people living in caves and stuff, but I can't see the you often get like the teleporting spaceship reptilian stories, which are just so out there. But like I say, I like to play devil's advocate, so we'll listen to this guy. And if this guy can produce evidence, would be the first time we've looked at these conspiracies and they've produced evidence instead of the Graham Hancock stuff. Will forever be my favourite, because it was just, and this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it was just bombarding you before you actually could contemplate what's going on. Owlman versus Mothman, death battle, exactly, yeah. But again, Owlman's going to win. He's got a beak. What's Mothman got? Some little furry antennas. Spirit science is bat poop. Got to be careful because I'm streaming to both TikTok and YouTube. Melted Mattis's mind. I've seen. I think Mind Unveiled. I got 5 minutes. In fact, I will do live reacts to some of Mind Unveiled's videos if people want that. I might just like start binging it. Although I got enough hate from the Graham Hancock fanboys for absolutely drilling Graham Hancock. From what I've seen from what Mattis did, the Tartaria guys are like unhinged. There is a siren Brazilian legend. Pun. I don't know why I said that was a pun. I do accidentally do puns. I do like puns. I'm very punny. It's a flaming headless mule. That is cool. I'm gonna give this is the one with pink dolphins. I was gonna look into pink dolphin stuff. There's not as much stuff. Like it's more like I'd have to read it, and that's not as interesting for you guys.
To be barricaded within the
But what did Graham Hancock say that was so wrong? Ameridan, you was in that live stream. You was in that live stream. With Santalis Cubrus, that... I'm not reading that out. That feels like a way to get me cancelled. I don't know what he's talking about.
Confines of human detectability. Just as a scuba diver goes into the water to interact with fish, who must find him to be strange, or a child that goes into a video game to interact with characters as an avatar, or a scientist adding a germ to a petri dish to test its compatibility with a culture of bacteria.
I get the principle of what you're saying, my guy. I get the principle of what this guy's saying, but again, like, he's offering up the explanation before the evidence. So he's trying to introduce you to the concept, which again is a very basic religious concept. A deity is interacting with you on a level that you cannot, perceive, so to speak. It is a very basic religious concept. Wait. I love how they always include the Hindu stuff, but then like have really bad understandings of Hindu, like the Hindu religion, like mythology and folklore and all the stuff around that. I'm looking into, I've got a Norse pagan guest coming up and a Hindu guest, and I think they'll probably come on at the same time. I might do them separately because they are a couple. They've actually been on before. They did the ranking Christmas list video, live rather. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. Very much looks like something I would see in a Brandon Sanderson book or like a Marvel movie.
Must assume that the sentient life forms outside of our direct experience.
Whoa. As above, I'm assuming that's gonna finish with as below, which is the satanic version of one of the main Christian. I'm a very bad Christian. I'm only recently Christian, but what's the main prayer? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I should know that prayer. Oh well, we're gonna learn that prayer later. Yeah, there's another. It sometimes visit the below.
Reality must, from time to time, penetrate into our world. And when it does, it becomes the substance of legend and what we call today as strange happenings or the unexplained. So if you missed part 1, first of all, go f*** yourself. But here's a really quick catch-up. Virginia, Brazil, NORAD picked up something unidentified and watched it land. Several witnesses saw...
Does the video keep cutting out for everyone else as well? This is the first time I've had this. Is he edited that in?
A cigar-shaped object in the sky. There were reports of a crash site or some kind of... witnesses saw a cigar-shaped object in the sky. There were
I'm sorry to the video creator. Please tell me he's not using. I'm assuming he's just using that as a visual representation. I'm assuming he's using that as a visual representation, cause. Okay.
reports of a crash site or some kind of wreckage. Multiple witnesses came into contact with a being that needed help and was transported to the hospital where it died. Another being on the loose had to be wrangled up by military personnel, which now
looks very chupacabra, not the like American, like South, like you know, like Southern American chupacabra, like the Latin American myth. The Cuban, it's one of the islands. Dominican Republic. It's one of those. Where? Hang on. Alien chupacabra myth. I wanna make sure I'm actually giving out some good upprint. Alien chupacabra myth origin. Where did it come from? Not the American wolf one, which is Puerto Rico. I was completely wrong. I was completely wrong. The Puerto Rican. Yeah, the Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
swarmed the town. The townspeople saw
That was a Donald Trump name. Probably gonna get in trouble for that.
the military scramble to deliver a black bag to the nearest hospital, where the doctor on site was asked to do the unexpected. This is not science fiction, and here's the rest of the story, followed by speculation on what these and other beings might be and their origins and intentions. This next part,
Well edited, I'm gonna give him that, but it's very history channel. Again, this sort of image is seen a lot. Caipora, from what I understand, is Brazilian version of the Tree Man. Interesting.
the doctor, who was also threatened to silence, has recently come forward to describe the events that I don't think any sci-fi or horror writer could have come up with. The hospital on lockdown. I think any sci
Cregan's Dark World, Terrors of the Deep, horror thriller. I'm assuming he's using that as a reference, like
sci-fi or horror writer could have come up with.
Lower the volume of the video. I can't hear you when it plays. Okay, I'll drop that down a bit.
Hospital on lockdown was
I should probably
filled.
pause. I should probably I'll probably keep it up a little bit higher, because otherwise people are going to complain that the video's too quiet. So I'll just pause it more when I'm speaking.
Wall to wall with military personnel. Everyone in attendance, all the staff and nurses.
Okay, but how is there not because these are all stock images of like the stock of a hospital, and then obviously military personnel. Why is there not one photo circulating the internet of like the road to the hospital, like circulating? And I'm you know, again, the burden of proof is on the person making the argument. So it's not my job to go out and say, can I find an image of the hospital being guarded by military? I need that. I mean, he's given a source. I also know that image. That's from an old. There's a book based on, or the film. There's a film based on that book, I believe. That's stars Christopher Walken. Oh, so that's. I'm assuming this guy is very much me. Like 10 years ago, I was really into this, and this is like automatically wow, this is stuff. Like again, as I say in all of these, asking the questions is fine. You need to ask the questions, but you need to validate your sources. I'm not as strict as, say, Mattis, like Aiden Mattis is. I don't mind secondary sources, but you need a lot of secondary sources to validate. Like 1 or 2 isn't going to cut it. You need like 5 or 6. And we've only got one, which is this supposed doctor, which we haven't got an audio interview or a written interview from, which would be a primary source. But again, like, you need to validate the doctor. I'm not poo-pooing it. I do like my just got in, starting at beginning at 2 times speed. We'll catch up. It's all good, Christina. It's all Christiana. I apologize if I got your name wrong. But yeah, like this is. It's presentation of facts without the evidence to back them. It's very good storytelling. Has he got sources in his description before I don't want to go in on too much on this guy because I've been there. Our finishing true story of the Varg. I don't like just openly saying it's true story. I like when I do mythology and folklore videos and stuff. When I'm talking about cryptids, I tend to leave it up to the audience to decide. I like present the audience and the factoids that I found out, and then I'll bring up the stuff that's like goes against it. Yeah. Also, I have read through the comments. A lot of people brought up the fact he has the Wikipedia article. I've had these come up. Law Lodge have had these come up. Count Daedalus have had these come up. Like, you get a lot of these. It's got merch. I mean, production value is pretty good so far. It's very like mid 2000s Monster Hunter. If anyone watched that show.
Nurses and doctors were afraid to speak. It was a vibe. The military insisted that the
This guy looks like such a reliable source. What are you talking about? Again, I don't want to come at the guy because he believes this stuff. I need more. I need more sources.
Doctor take x-rays of this black bag. The doctor took the x-rays as ordered by the military, but the military
Is this the doctor that came forward and did the actual hearing and the Mexican stuff? This is where I will admit that I'm not qualified to do the debunking. I know my stuff to a certain point, but then obviously when we're getting like deep into this, obviously the entire world saw the Mexican stuff as fake. You can see that just by looking at the little model. But I don't know. Let's keep watching. I want to see what he's got for me.
insisted on pulling the x-ray prints themselves and quickly rushed the entire convoy away as quickly as they appeared. So this doctor himself not only never saw the creature or what was.
So far, he's Grimdim. So far, he's presented the start of his story, and apparently a doctor has come forward. I think he's talking about the doctor that came forward with a Mexican hearing with a little tiny body, but again, it doesn't match the alien here.
Inside the bag, but he actually never got to see.
Seen that footage a lot. I'm fairly certain that's been debunked. That's one of the old American videos, if I'm right. I could be wrong. Haven't seen this image, and this image does look semi-mysterious.
The x-rays in which he took, and he complains to this day that he did not get a chance to verify whether.
Why is this doctor still alive? Like, not to get too conspiratorial myself, but like, there's a lot of Hillary Clinton, aides that have decided to self-delete via shotgun while hanging themselves. And like the shotguns hit to the back of their head, which is an impossible maneuver to do. So like, why? Why is he still alive? Why is he saying this stuff? Why hasn't he had like a heart attack? Like, I would actually believe it more if he said that the doctor he's talking about, he just had a random heart attack. CIA do actually have weapons like that. Just like little ice gun thing. And that's why I'm going conspiracy theory now.
The x-rays were done well or not, because sometimes x-rays don't come out clear. The military did not seem to give a shit about that. Their priority was more based on the doctor not seeing his own x-rays than they were for those x-rays to be of quality. Also worth noting is that a local firefighter who actually helped wrangle up this second creature into the black bag with the military, also sworn secrecy, he also died about 3 days later of the same ailment as Officer Carlos. Anything that can be debunked, I would like to at least give the benefit of the doubt. This particular part of the story about the firefighter is alleged and comes from word of mouth accounts.
I'm going to give him some respect for that, right? Because it is in his best interest to keep the story going. The fact that he's saying alleged, he's actually bringing up that there is holes in the story he's telling, I'm going to give him credit for. Again, it's always called the firefighter or the doctor and stuff like that. It's when you put actual names to things, it gives it a bit more credence, because then you can start searching people up. Yeah.
That's not something we can bet all of our marbles on. The doctors, nurses, and staff were all told that this...
The sources are from BuzzFeed, I bet. Why do they look like that? What, the aliens?
Training?
I don't know.
Exercise. They were four...
See, bring it up, man. It's always a training exercise. If we're going to get conspiratorial, I would say it's always a training exercise because they're moving people into position to grab stuff. But again, it's the number of people... The number of people... Sound vibrations are one of the little. I do love the little heart thing, but it makes it almost impossible to read out the comments. One hell of a thing. True.
Forced to sign papers that threatened jail time and fines if these events were spoken.
Can anyone validate how accurate this is for Brazilian NDAs? Brazilian oath of secrecy. This doesn't look very government, very formal to me. Nice taste in wallpaper. I too like the kangaroo leg lady. Oh yes. Tally. We all listen. Simping for Tally is a perfectly valid life choice. Brazilian oath of secrecy document. Human Constitution. Certified proof of execute. That's the wrong thing. Monday. Okay. I can't see anything coming up. But if there is any Brazilians watching who have worked in any government official office, let me know if that's a thing. It doesn't look too like it looks like I've punched out in Word in about half an hour. Yeah. Doesn't look governmental official. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong.
Spoken of.
But I'm not going to come at him for that. To be fair, so far, of all the conspiracies we looked at, he's coming at it in the hardest to debunk. Again, it's the same thing I normally have an issue with, is I would like a list of sources that I could go through myself. Yeah.
We all know how that goes when a strange happening is experienced by dozens and dozens of people. They talk amongst each other.
And this is the issue. It's the same one we had an issue with the moon landing stuff. Is the amount of people you have to force into silence. It gets slightly more unrealistic. Now, obviously, there's a part 1 to this video, so I didn't realize that when I went into it. But I might find it, and then we see if we can go through that. But the issue is when you have such a large number of people to push into silence, the conspiracy gets a little bit out of hand. It's very much like the 9/11 conspiracy stuff, which I was very deeply into at one point. Of like it was an inside job. It's a lot harder to present it as an inside job, and the American government let it centered it to happen, so they had an excuse. Much more, if you're going to get conspiratorial, it makes much more sense if the intelligence came through and they decided not to take action, because that intelligence probably would go through a couple of agents who gathered it, and then the higher ups would ignore it, and other governments that may have it are gonna they're gonna put it they're gonna keep it secret as well because they want a good alliance with America. So them letting it happen makes much more sense. But when you look at the actual, there's definitely an inside job. It's the number of people that have to be paid, bribed into silence. Like the only other way to do that is you just leave a trail of bodies. It's a reason that the conspiracy for the Clinton body count is exactly as it is, because the Clinton body count is really weirdly high. Same as everyone that Kevin Spacey accuses Kevin Spacey seems to wind up dead. It's a lot at weirdly high number. So those conspiracies hold more credence to me, because why do these people keep winding up dead in self deletions? Yeah, so the number of people that have to be put into silence, although I suppose if they're lower level military personnel, then it wouldn't be hard. It'd be very similar to the SCP Foundation. They become expendable. Yeah, so this guy, I don't think he's not doing harmful misinformation. He's just doing a little silly alien conspiracy. I'm not going to say that there wasn't a UFO crash in the middle of Brazil. It's a lot. I tell you what, this is a lot better than I anticipated it going straight into reptilians and stuff. I think he might have just done that for clickbait, which is a lot better, to be fair. It looks like community gathering event wallpaper. Does he believe it himself, or is he telling a story? I'm not. From the name of his YouTube channel, Library of the Untold, I have a feeling he does believe it a little bit himself. But again, I can't 100%, can't 100% discount him, because I've done mythology videos where I've spoken about stuff like the Woodwoes and that, where I've not explicitly said I don't believe it, but I've not explicitly said I do believe it, because I believe that when I'm making those sort of videos, it's my job to give you the evidence and give you the evidence against it, and then let the audience decide for themselves what they believe. It's not my job to give an opinion on if it's real or not. It's my opinion to deliver the mythology, deliver the story and the folklore behind it, and then say it's up to you to take it from here. I don't believe in giving definitive answer, unless occasionally I will step in and be like, this is, I will lean normally to the this doesn't make sense. But yeah, it's my job to basically encourage critical thinking. Because I always, as I've said in this live stream, is always ask the questions, but don't be upset if you don't get the answers you wanted. I would like to mention I would never put salt in my tea or put it in a microwave. That's very good news to hear. It's a disgusting practice, putting salt in tea. Microwave, I'm a little less up to that. It's very heartbreaking to see Americans do this. Yeah, at least he isn't a Chinese moon-based conspiracy theorist. Where would they put the moon base? I'm assuming that on the dark side of the moon. Oh, I'm gonna have to look into this now. People underestimate how big Brazil is. It's fucking huge. It's huge. The fact that Brazil isn't a superpower is astounding to me, and there's a lot of history that goes into that I don't fully understand, so I'm not going to go into it. Because you shouldn't talk about stuff that you're not 100% on, because then you start spreading misinformation, and that's yeah. I'd rather people start getting called out and cancelled for spreading actual historical misinformation than actually not getting cancelled, because then you're silencing people, but called out for going on stuff they're not 100% on. That's why you often notice if I want to talk about a certain subject, like the moon landing stuff the other day, I'm not 100% on it, so I got Count Daedalus in the next follow-up live to cover the stuff that I was stuck on. And then we debunked the moon landing conspiracy in 20 minutes. Just once, you should try a good Chinese tea with salt and butter in it. Gonna have to look into this. I'm too English to understand this.
And then they talk amongst friends and family, and then it catches fire, and people do what is right, and they come forward, and as people come forward, more people come forward. Unfortunately, those who were directly there who have come forward versus those who came forward after the story caught fire causes a bit of confusion and, I should say, debauched debunkery along the way. For example, the best way that this story has been debunked by particular sources of information is the fact that some of these later accounts of people coming forward who say they were involved with this were found to be inconsistent in their stories. These accounts will be put on the forefront.
I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with how this video has got. Like I say, I always go into these. I don't watch them beforehand. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. He is poking holes in his own argument, which is making his story more believable. I will give him that. He's poking holes and saying that a lot of people are telling inconsistent story. One tea sin at a time for me. Iced tea, lol, it's very niche. But yeah, no, I like the fact that he's poking holes in this story himself as he's going through it. Which is a very good thing to do. It's a very good way of he's showing some decent critical thinking skills here. I'm actually do you know what? When I put that title up, I thought this was going to be the craziest story. Actually, we've still got the Joe Rogan video to go. I'm talking way too soon. I feel like the Joe Rogan video is going to be more unhinged than this now. I thought this might make the Joe Rogan video look like this is actually really good. I'm actually really enjoying the way he's putting this forward so far.
Of these stories by skeptics to debunk them in such a way that, psychologically speaking, if you get into a story and you find out one thing is false about it, it causes your brain, your mind, your ability to see the whole picture to associate the entire thing with being false. This is kind of the same as this has done with this flat earth conspiracy, you know.
Oh no, my guy, no, I was on your side. I was on your side. Oh no, I said that he was presenting it for it. Yeah, Grim to him, literally, I did. Don't speak too soon now. I did. It took him, what, 30 seconds? Less than 30 seconds. Oh no. Well, King Ameridan, whichever account you're currently using or whatever platform, if you're watching this, well done. You managed to get Flat Earth in here somehow. Oh, we will do Flat Earth at one point, but I'm gonna need a bigger subscriber goal for that because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna physically hurt. I might try and get Mattis in if we're gonna do that. I'll figure out how I can be able to have him watch it at the same time. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. 33 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Let's read it. The Dreyfus Affair. I don't know what that is. The Mafia. Is there a conspiracy theory with the Mafia? They're just corrupt and involved in everything. I suppose that's conspiratorial. MK Ultra, yeah. Operation Mockingbird. Manhattan Project. Was that a conspiracy theory at one point? You had so much faith in him, all for it to come crashing down in a big stage, big anime portrayal for sure. I did. I was like, wow, this guy's actually showing some critical thinking. He's highlighting issues in his argument, and then and then we get hit with the flat Earth. Right. What was it I was looking up? The conspiracy that I was unsure on. The Operation Mockingbird. Okay. I know I believe it's Operation Northwoods was real. The one where they wanted to the one that JFK shut down, where the idea was to have a Cuban false flag attack. It's an alleged large-scale program that began in the early years of the Cold War. Domestic. Yeah, I feel like that's probably true. I don't want to go 100% before I've looked into it. Refers to the CIA's involvement in journalism. The CIA getting involved in journalism does sound very plausible. I can't lie. Watergate, yeah, obviously Watergate's true. Dusky, yep, that's true. Operation Northwood, I believe, yeah, is 100% true. Iran-Contra affair, I don't know. I don't want to look into all of these. I mean, I might. Hang on, I'm going to quickly screenshot this so I can... so that I can very, very much look back into this. Why do I want to have this kept secret? Where's my research folder? Lives. There we go. Right, I'm going to save this just so I can look at these conspiracies later and actually maybe dive into them. BC CIA scandal, don't know. CIA drug running to LA. I know they made a movie on that one. Gulf Tonkin. I don't know. That sounds familiar. The 1933 business plot. 1944 conspiracy to assassinate Hitler. There was a lot of conspiracies to assassinate Hitler. I'm not going to lie. 1953 Operation Ajax. Don't know. Scientology's Operation Snow White. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. NATO and CIA Operation Gladio. What? CIA assassinations? There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. No! The New World Order did not get proven to be true. Unless you're going on about the World Economic Forum, which is a different video. But that's getting into a bit more political stuff. You will own nothing and you will be happy. I had so much fucking faith in this guy. I was like, oh wow, he's actually looking back. He's actually poking holes. New World Order, man. The Kennedy assassination, yes, that was proven to be true. 1999 World. No, the World Series are that's going into the Tartaria conspiracy, isn't it? Karen Silkwood. I just saw the comment for that. I don't want to Google it because I'm scared it's gonna be porn. CIA drug smuggling again. CIA drug smuggling was like a lot of that's true. Bohemian Grove. What about Bohemian Grove? Operation Paperclip. Yep. Roundtable. You can't count just because the an organization called the Illuminati existed as that. I don't see a Death of Nero conspiracy theory on here though, unless I've missed it. Probably I've missed it. The Trilateral Commission, don't know what that is. Big Brother and Shadow Government. Listen, okay, yeah, no, I don't trust. Like everyone knows, I'm a very big anti-government, very small government person. The Federal Reserve Bank. What about the Federal Reserve Bank?
Conspiracies were becoming to the forefront of us through the internet, and we're starting to catch on to their bullshit, and therefore they put out a wildly crazy.
No. Where's 5G in there? QAnon. Wait. I love this. Okay, wait. So the speculation line, like UFOs, yeah, leaving reality. Elvis lives. Is there a conspiracy theory that Elvis is alive? I will look into the Death of Nero conspiracy. Is there actually a conspiracy theory that Elvis is alive? Is this a thing? Is this an actual thing? I mean, chemtrails is just not in the way that it's normally presented. Oh, see, now you're saying don't search it up. I'm gonna search it. If I get cancelled for searching Karen Silkwood up live on stream, I'm going to search up Karen Silkwood. It's American chemical technology and labor union activist known for reporting common. Oh yeah, 100%. There's. I can. Okay. Yeah, there's 100% the conspiracy behind that. And then the Death of Nero conspiracy. I wasn't going to search it live on stream, but we'll see. If I get cancelled, it's the audience's fault. Plutarchus, leading Roman statesman, benefactor, literature, orator, intended to have Nero assassinated. Oh yes, I do believe I might have heard this one. I didn't know its true name though. Oh yes, that might actually make an interesting YouTube video. To be fair. And one NGO still alive. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of MJ still being alive. And also, I do know of Bob Marley still alive. One that he runs like a restaurant somewhere. The anti-Semitic point of no return. We've covered the moon landing being fake. I didn't know that was an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. George Soros is not a He's got his fingers in a lot of pies. Don't see how that's anti-Semitic. Um, I don't like the way this is laid out. Like, because anti-vaxxers is, like, it depends on what type of anti-vaxxer. Are they just asking questions like, hey, is this healthy? Is it tested? Or are they going, it causes autism, it's evil, it's satanic? Like, there's levels to that. Chemtrails, obviously, there are chemicals in the fuel that's used. Are they dropping chemicals over to make us all infertile? Probably not. Do I think governments are that evil that they would do it? Yeah. I feel like Pizzagate was kind of had some evidence behind it. Holocaust denial is obviously anti-Semitic. QAnon. I haven't actually ever met a QAnon person in real life. I've seen them on Twitter. Like, QAnon's one of those people that I'm like, is it real or is it all on Twitter with bots? New World Order. Yeah, I Reptilian overlords. Who was speaking about the royal family being who was speaking about the royal family being a bunch of reptilians earlier? Apparently you're an anti-Semite. See, I don't like these because he's using this, right? Because some of these are genuinely stupid. Like, the moon landing isn't anti-Semitic. The reptilian, it's just dumb. Not all anti-vaxxers are absolute evil monsters, and they can be, again, ask the questions. If you get answers you don't like, you have to still accept the answers. I'm like, yeah. Also, Free Britney is a conspiracy theory? I mean, we did free her, and then she still posted weird stuff online. This is a weird diagram. It's a weird infographic. Yeah, I think there is. Oh, I'm gonna get some hate for this one. I think there is actually a line. I think the most hardcore conspiracy theorists, and there is a lot of anti-Semitism that goes into a lot of these. Like, there is, when you dive into these conspiracies, at some point you will find the part where it's just like the Jews. But you also have the people on the other side that are so anti the conspiracy theory that they have to accept everything that's given to them. And ironically, they are in the exact same space as the conspiracy theorists. When you're believing every piece of information that's given to you and you're not asking any questions, you're reaching the point of like medieval peasant. Whereas like the conspiracy theorists, there's a Christian friend of mine actually said when I was leaving my atheist phase, moving into agnosticism before I went back to religion, he actually gave me a very good phrase, which was, don't open up your mind so much that it falls out. And that's the same, they're two sides of the same coin. And quite literally he's put that on screen for us to see. Who's the next guest you're having on the podcast? I've got a few lined up that I'm not going to reveal just yet. There is a cool name. It is a cool name. Oh, no, alternative therapy, suppression, conspiracy theory. There's a lot of alternative medicine stuff that's very troubling. And governments always know what's best for people. Yes, I'm incredibly pro-government. I think that the farmers throwing manure over government buildings is awful. Oh, it's awful. That's because they don't go outside. It's very true.
Theories such as flat Earth, let it catch fire. That way, normal people associate.
What's the point of the conspiracy theory for flat Earth? What would it change? What would happen if we discovered the Earth was flat? Nothing. Society would keep moving forward. There's maybe a few very extreme Christians would be happy and be like, "Ah, see, it's all proven. It's correct." Like, maybe that's it. Like, a few more religions have a bit more validity, and you can't say that because most religious institutions are connected with governments in some shape or form. Like, the separation between state and religion has never been that effective. You will always have, in America, you'll have candidates going up and speaking to God or Allah or whatever. In the UK, you still have people speaking to God or Allah, or like whatever religion. In India, you have people, speaking on Hinduism. Like, the separation of church and state has been very ineffective globally. So it's not that. So, like, I need the point of the flat Earth conspiracy. What's the point? What is the point of hiding it? It's not like the Bigfoot stuff, right? if you said why is the government hiding Bigfoot, and you then look into it and you look at the certain sighting spots, and there a lot of the time these Bigfoot sightings come up where there's logging companies coming in. Like a lot of the time, it's weird that they want to build something there or something like that. Would make sense. Why you would hide Bigfoot? Or if it's much more down to law lodge explanation, where you're looking more at something like the Saskets, and there's a tribe of uncontacted people there, and maybe there's a U.S. treaty or whatnot, or you just don't want to mess with them, you don't want to upset the balance, you know, then you would hide it. You don't want loads of people going in bothering these people. You don't want people going in and getting hurt or hurting these people. One of the same, like, you know, North Sentinel Island, people are continually. So that would make sense as to why you wouldn't want people interacting with these maybe less contacted tribes, or like same stuff with the Amazon, like. So that stuff I make sense. What's the point of the flat Earth conspiracy? What does anyone gain by hiding the fact the Earth is flat? No one can answer that. Take all flat earthers to space. They would tell you you faked it. They would tell you you're projecting a hologram. Everyone's seen that clip of like the guy where they have two cards, and like if the Earth is flat, we would hold the light at chest height, and then it won't, you know, it will be, the light will be visible if it's flat. If it's curved, then we'll have to hold the light up. They ended up having to hold the light up, and then they tried to do something to debunk it. There was another very rich flat earther who created like this device to measure rotation on a sphere, and every single time it kept measuring rotation, and every single time every single time that it would measure it, and they were like, oh, there's interference. What's next? Birds are actually real, no way. Birds, much like women, are government agents. That's going to be clipped and taken out of context. The next live stream is me trying to defend that I didn't actually mean that statement. Saying Earth is flat is a little insensitive. Well, you know, I think the flat earthers have a very round argument. Okay, we're moving on.
All conspiracy theories with ridiculous ones like flat Earth, but
wait! Is he regaining my trust? Is he regaining my trust? Is he?
This one's like flat Earth, but
wait! Is he?
These theories such as flat Earth, let it catch fire. That way, normal people associate all conspiracy theories with ridiculous ones like flat Earth, but. Before I go and call any conspiracy theories ridiculous, I might as well admit that here in a moment I'm getting ready to go into a short spout of reptilians. But
we're not back, guys. We're not back, guys.
So I mean, interesting note. Some of the military men involved in this also came forward, same as this doctor, and
that's really unfortunate positioning for that dude. It kind of looks like he's trying to bum the alien corpse. Flat Earthers would have an aneurysm if they saw Earth from space. He's between the dark and light. He's balanced insanity and insanity. Literally, he's keeping me on the edge, man. I'm like, wait, does he believe in Flat Earth? Wait. Yeah, again, I don't want to see any comments of hate going towards this guy in his comment section. It's not fair. If I don't know if he believes in Flat Earth or not now. I don't know.
Most of the townspeople who saw this thing, and he also remembers vividly seeing this creature with the bag open and reported being stricken by this notion of it having 3 appendages on each limb.
A being found mummified in Peru. That's a very strong claim.
Stricken by this notion.
Very strong claim. Very, very strong claim.
Of it having 3 appendages on each limb. 3 fingers, 3 toes.
There's human beings with 3 appendages on each limb. With like 3 fingers and stuff. Like, you can see them on TikTok. It's just a mutation where the, like, you know, bones and stuff fused together. So that could very easily just be a person with a mutation if it's real. I am very, very skeptical on how real that is.
And another part of the story is it continues, and I just can't make this.
I just want to, like, I really want to say that the burden of proof is on, pardon me, is on the people making the claim. It's not on the person debunking it. Like, if I was to say everything in the Bible is 100% correct, then the burden of proof is on me. If I say that there's metaphorical stuff in the Bible,
To find out who, when, where, and what.
I want to look into the description of his channel. Discussions concerning esoteric teachings, strange happenings, alchemical transmutations, Gnostic thinking. That says a lot. Mythological allegory, metaphysics, forbidden psychology. That sounds... I'm not getting into that. Religious origin. That sounds like the same people on TikTok that are sitting there going, dark psychology tricks to get you a girlfriend. Religious origins. Freemason conspiracies are so unhinged. Zen, ancient civilizations, hallucinogens, black cube Saturn law? What? What is this? What is black cube? The secret cult of the black cube? What?
Your clothes can earn you extra cash.
What is the secret cult of the black... What? Significant black rock motion on the planet. What is this? Oh man, I'm gonna have to look into this. Okay. Meditation. It's so random. Like all of that. Meditation. Kundalini, viable conspiracy, hermetic law, and anything else that I find deep curiosity in. Don't blame him for asking the questions. But yeah, he does like his reptiles. He's getting good views as well, so you know, clearly winning the YouTube game. He's between very zen.
Shut up! This next part is fun. When the excuse-riddled cover-up the military gave about it being a training exercise began unraveling due to public curiosity, the military changed their story to this. Some of you are laughing right now if you're familiar with the story. They changed their story from it being a training exercise to assisting dwarves have a baby.
What? What?
The military claimed that there was two little people, a couple, having a baby, and they needed military assistance in order to deliver this new baby. And that's what the whole lockdown was about, and that's what the creature was in the bag, was a couple of dwarves having babies. If you guys can help me with figuring that, I don't know. Also, on the same notion of so-called debunking, it's worth noting that the hospital was getting new equipment that day. The military claims to have been responsible for delivering that equipment. What a lot of skeptics are saying that these three girls and people saw that day.
The creature was little people having a baby. If that's true, military statement, I can understand why people have looked into a conspiracy theory for this. Oh. This guy's entire channel screams he drinks history channel. He drinks history channel Kool-Aid. Maybe he just really liked reptilians and greys. I wouldn't blame him. Yeah, exactly. Public about. I feel like I'm taking acid. I'm not quite sure what drugs I've evidently ingested before watching this video, but
was a mentally challenged man, a local man who is skinny and kind of feral. You can look at pictures of him, I'll put it right here. This man was known to the townspeople, you know, a bit of a stray cat, I suppose you might say. Those involved with debunking the story claimed that because it was raining that day, the people of the town were confusing him for this demon. I'll be the first, maybe the first to say it, but that's fucking rude to go and say, no, you guys didn't see a demon or an alien or anything like that.
The weirdest part of this story now, as we're getting into the meat of it, is the fact that the weirdest shit that's come out of his mouth is apparently official government statements.
Was a guy. It's how dehumanizing that must be to this poor man. But fuck, that's none of my business, I guess. A journalist named I didn't put that in my notes. Put his name on the screen. He went down there to kind of get the story and in a way kind of debunk it. That was his kind of thing. And he went to go speak with the witnesses, including the doctor and the guy who drove this being around. And he was saying that in all the years of his investigative
That's the Joe Rogan clip, I have a feeling, isn't it?
Journaling, he has seen all the bullshit, lies, and people of truth. And he can tell the difference between the attitude of those seeking attention and profit and those who are, frankly, frightened and confused. And he insisted that everyone he spoke with who was directly tied to these original events.
Okay, so far, my personal takeaway is really something clearly has happened. Is it reptilian space aliens? Is it a military exercise gone wrong? It's probably like that. Like something has clearly happened. There's clearly been body bags and been shifted. Like if I don't think conspiracy theories should jump straight to aliens when it could very. In fact, like I've often said this about Area 51, there would be nothing better than to cover up the shady stuff the American military does, other than Area 51, by saying, look, guys, aliens. Look over here. Look at the aliens. And like this would be like a bit like a Brazilian government saying the exact same thing, like going, look, guys, aliens. There might be aliens. Ooh, look, we're covering up aliens. In actuality, it's just a crashed pilot. And Brazil is South America's Japan. They have so much weird lore and creatures. This feels like an average dream for me. It starts for me. I have some weird dreams. I normally dream I'm being chased by a T-Rex. I like food from undergrowth.
Were undeniably still shaken years later, especially the doctor who seemed to be beyond genuine, of real humility and fear about all of these events. Some of the witnesses were offered money for their story after they had already come forward. The news offered them a paycheck and they took the money. And this debunks it. Let me tell you, if that's what I would do. And that's what you would do. And that's what these skeptics saying that this debunks it, that's what they would do. They would take the money as well. You're going to take the money. I don't see that as a viable way of debunking anything. People need money.
Right. People do need money. He's got a very valid point. But at the same time, like it becomes the curse of like, so if they're talking to a lot of news agencies and that people, they become a laughing stock, they lose the ability to be employed, I would understand if they're taking money for their story. still a tame comparison to my dreams. And knowing him, I had some horrific night terrors. Maybe I'll go into them one day. My night terrors are not fun. But the issue I'm taking here. I also very much need to pee. I'm gonna be like 30 seconds, guys. Give me 30 seconds. I was just give me 30 seconds, and then I'll come back with my train of thought. Sorry, guys. Sorry. He did, in fact, break me. He did, in fact, break me. Hang on. Oh, that's 100% charge. Never mind then. I'll just put the... Oh, boy. Okay. I feel better now. Well, physically I feel better. Mentally I still feel very deeply hurt. First one asked by someone's born. All my dreams are continuously re-experiencing tragedy over and over until I could tell a dead person in a dream how and why they died. I'm so sorry you had that horrific experience. That's not fun. Alright, believe it or not, some of my night terrors follow a similar vein, although it's less reoccurring, more like similar figures. Like my dreams involve getting chased by things too. It's very weird. Yeah, I have a lot of being chased sort of stuff. Particularly aliens and demons. My dreams are really weird. Are we all having weird dreams? This is turning into a... We're forming a conspiracy theory during the live. Yeah. Okay, let's go through it. Where was I going?
The world runs on it, as we learned in our last video. It's worth noting that whenever they want to debunk these things, they put these inconsistent parts of the story that surface later in first as the leading edge of the story to sway the public.
Yeah, but that's no different to what you did at the start of this video, where you was going on about the mathematics and the dimensions. I really don't like his counter argument to debunking with when that's the exact same methods used by conspiracy theorists. That they come in with the logical stuff, like, oh hey, you know, like the logical stuff is, oh hey, did you know that there might be like a tribe of people living in like deep in America? They're called the Saskets. Maybe we should talk about that. And then 6 weeks later, you're inside a cult, and now you're listening to a Scientologist explain how the Wendusi is real and he regularly gets some. Like, you see, like, that's how conspiracy theories sort of tumble. Like, it's the very realization of, would the US government have a false flag attack in order to attack Cuba, and then you end up with what is it, potbelly pig goblins that Alex Jones goes on about, or like, you know, human pig hybrids. Like the way that stuff leads down, or actually a couple of very famous cases he's brought up, like the moon landing conspiracy. That starts off with the easy questions like, how did they get to the moon? I don't quite understand this. I'm going to dig into this. To the Jews control America. Like, yeah. Chasing has been the biggest theme since I was little. Did anyone else learn they can run faster if you turn sideways in a dream? Do you know what? My weird thing, whenever I'm being chased by something in a dream, I pause it like it's a video game, and then I like exit it through a menu, and then when I exit I wake up. It's really weird. That's how my brain does it. It's like my coping mechanism is like, I need to pause this, I need to bring up the save screen because I'm really freaked out by what's chasing me. Ever since I was little, I've made myself think I'm in a video game, which is weird. I feel like that's maybe a way of lucid dreaming. This is going to give me weird dreams, even weirder than normal. It's pipeline. It is very much is. A lot of those pipelines do lead to anti-Semitism. One of my most frequent dreams is getting chased by alligators. See, mine's that or Martians. Wendosi. Yeah, Lord Wendosi.
But the public buys it, but we don't. What's up,
or
little
demons, like being chased by like random hallways and stuff. Yeah, no, I can actually really.
I am. You have food on your shirt. It's an egg. Was that a good sandwich this morning?
Don't. Ah! I don't want to do this anymore. He just picked off an egg from his son's shirt and ate it.
The bread I didn't eat.
Oh, you didn't like the bread?
Yeah, look. This is the reason I want to get that ball python.
Okay, you want another ball python? Oh wait, we have a boa constrictor, don't we?
Yeah, you can breed them though.
You can breed them.
And then look.
What's the name of the YouTube today? Happy birthday, Reptiles. I want to give her a shout out.
And then
I don't want to skip
With
over
the constrictor, don't we?
Yeah, you can breed them though.
You can breed them.
And then look.
What's the name of the YouTube lady who takes care of reptiles? I want to give her a shout out.
Lucid dreams are very, very wild.
My boy is 11 years old today, guys. So
Actually, it was yesterday.
So give Emery a happy birthday.
Reptile. New discovery.
We need to get you a YouTube Premium. Get rid of these ads.
Shout out to Snake Discovery.
Snake Discovery, your YouTube channel is absolutely fascinating, informative of our reptiles. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Do you need to charge your phone?
Fun fact, when you subscribe to YouTube Premium, the content creators you watch earn less money. Drinking apple juice before bed can make dreams more vivid. I used to drink a lot of apple juice before bed. I used to have some very interesting dreams when I did that. Yeah, this is an oddly
You have
wholesome
15% and we're leaving to the Mystic
I'm
Fair.
not bringing it there.
All right.
What are you talking about?
Well, you are directly in front of my notes, so do you want to pull up a chair or just scoot to the side? Any opinions on Mothman?
I'm pretty sure he can fly.
Yeah.
And he's a super
He knows we
villain.
was talking
He's a
about
super
Mothman.
villain, dude. What
And
about
Spider-Man kills him with a single web.
how about reptilians?
They would be
I'm really freaked out by how this guy's
Spider-Man
covering
with
like
one
the
bite.
same topics we've sort of briefly touched on.
What is Tom Holland the newest Spider-Man?
As far as I know, Tom Holland is the only Spider-Man.
Uncharted.
Uncharted, when he was jumping from car to car as they jumped and as they fell out of the plane and they found the treasure, and then that.
Yeah, he's the best Spider-Man.
He's the best Spider-Man, I know.
You said Spider-Man would defeat him.
No, he would defeat the reptile.
I don't know.
Yeah,
why I'm
he
watching.
does in the movie.
Hell yeah, he does.
How
Do you have
long
any
is he-
opinions on the Greys? What do you think they are?
What the heck is a brick?
The Greys.
See, this is interesting. This is interesting. Because a lot of alien conspiracies I do like deep down. I used to be really into it. I'm a lot more skeptical now. I do think like the Greys have visited us on some level. I'm gonna be open about that. But you still gotta be skeptical. Who says we're not? What's Ryan? Maybe this is all in my head. Maybe I'm in psychiatric ward, just walking back and forth, going like, little people giving birth to the military.
It's a lizard.
So you're saying that this looks like an alien, but this looks like a lizard?
Yes.
So what does that tell us? Think about that for a moment psychologically. How close these beings seem to be that my son, who is unbiased about any of this shit, sees this and says, alien.
He's unbiased, but he's also a child. Bro pulled the Greta Thunberg argument. The Grayusi. Oh no.
And sees this and says reptile. Almost makes you wonder if there's maybe some kind of, if I talk like this, does it look like you're talking? Anyways, so reptilian creatures seem to feast upon our suffering. Astral beings that can shapeshift into our reality, therefore infiltrating and blah, 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 blah. I'm turning it into David Icke real quick. This one. I'm not going to cover the Mothman because
I think the Mothman would.
am I recording still?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So I don't know what the cat did to my original tracks here. She walked on this sample pad and hit a button, which I'm not familiar with, so that cat's smarter than I am when it comes to get my own shit up. Anywho, you already know the Mothman story, so I would like to tell you what a lot of people might not realize is that the occurrence of the
Wait, what? Wow, wait, why are we on the Mothman now? Wait, why are we on the Mothman?
Mothman is not isolated to Point Pleasant, West
It's just the difference with the size of the heads. Very true.
Virginia. Whenever the sighting stopped after the bridge collapse in Point Pleasant, he was seen in Chicago, over 100 sightings
What has this got to do with Brazil?
near Lake Michigan on his, I guess, seemingly on his way to Chicago. Multiple sightings that seem to draw a line of travel. After several sightings of the Mothman in this one of these separate regions, the St. Anthony Bridge collapsed just like the bridge in Point Pleasant did. I mean, coincidence? Sure, but one hell of a coincidence. I suppose you can't have a video on hypersentient cryptoids without mentioning the reptilians, which has, I guess, reoccurred. Some people claim that they are the original inhabitants of Earth and that we, mammals, are...
Yeah, following the Dinosauria argument, it does make sense. Doctor Who's done this many times over with the Silurians. Yeah, there could be dinosaur species that got to the level of intelligence of us. Do I think they would look like us? Listen, there's a large part of me that believes that a good chunk of the imagery we have of the reptilian conspiracy theories is because people have a thing for shagging lizard people. Rule 34. All I'm saying.
New to the Earth, and it's hypothesized that during this gap of missing time, there was an intelligent species of reptiles that inhabited Earth, was forced to go underground. And this is what legend says as well. Not only is it said...
Again, right, he's going to bring out all these models and stuff of the ancient civilization of reptiles that controlled humanity. Why did they stop, and why do they occasionally come out and they're naked now? Why have we technologically surpassed them? They become more bestial? Like, but then that's not hyper-intelligent, cryptids, so I don't know what he's on about. Like, I don't understand what he's trying to do here. Why do people keep using the bridge collapse even after someone has admitted to faking the picture of the Mothman on the bridge? says everything we need to know about what we're watching, doesn't it?
By military personnel who have come forward, but many legends and myths of ancient times describe these reptilian creatures that
if I send you a video about how to saber-tooth fiber is still alive, would that be any good? You can send that over to me. I'll happily dissect it. I might go through it. If Smilodon is still hanging about, it wouldn't be like it's the Smilodon. The Smilodon, like stuff like that, like conspiracy theories where like extinct animals aren't actually extinct are still fairly grounded, like Tasmanian tiger and that. We've literally reached the point. I was gonna say, yeah, Grimdim, his voice is actually quite cool, I will admit, but again, this is early. Oh, I've just read something from that text. So using religious texts is very interesting to me, because again, like I've been very open, like coming to Christ and my Christian faith and stuff, which I'm very new to. I still see a lot of the Bible as very metaphorical, but using religious text as a one-to-one translation of fact. I'm gonna need a lot of substantial side evidence for it. Both human, but that was what I read. Elusive breed holds. Human serpentine breeding stuff. Oh well, he's getting into the Hollow Earth theory now. Don't. Hey, I'm still unsure if he believes in the flat Earth or not. To be honest, he's been given off both vibes.
Underground due to the Younger Dryas era and built cities.
God damn it! We're back to the Younger Dryas stuff. I can't escape that. Graham Hancock, thank you. I'll check your underscore. Graham Hancock brings up the Younger Dryas, and now we're doing this. No, if you're going to do reptilians, at least so they went underground when the dinosaurs went extinct.
These cities sometimes are called Agartha, Shambhala, and have different names throughout different cultures, but what is absolutely verifiable is that there are deep underground cities, not caverns, not holes.
Yes, there are deep underground human-built cities, but they're built into the ground, not into a hollow earth. Having these deep underground cities kind of reverses the hollow earth hypothesis, because then you're where are they building? If there's a hollow earth, what are they building into? Also, why don't we all sink into the hollow earth religious? Like, yeah, Graham Hancock, exactly. Like, I can't escape. I did one live stream, like, having a go at Graham Hancock, and now he's everywhere. He's following me. There's an artist I follow who has a similar voice without being a weird, uneducated vomiter.
Holes in the ground, not caves. Man,
would you live there? What, in the hollow? What, in the underground city? As long as there's not any creepy stuff. Maybe I can get myself a hot reptilian GF.
Made cities that housed thousands of people. How did they see in these underground cities?
1963, a man knocked down a wall of his home. Behind it, he discovered a mysterious room and soon discovered an intricate tunnel system with additional cave-like rooms. What he discovered was the ancient Derinkiyu underground city in Turkey.
Cities they built, many of which don't have suits on the ceiling of the tunnels, so they weren't using torches. Have to have the vision of a, other accounts of reptilians claim that a species that lives outside of our dimension.
To be fair, you would have to have very good night vision. So you could equally argue that cat femboys built the city. This is my conspiracy theory. It's not lizard people. It's cat boys. They built the thing. They control the world. It's the cat boys. Do you know about the tunnel lady on TikTok? There's a few different people that explore all the tunnels and stuff. Yeah, I'd quite like to explore some of the Malta tunnels though. There's actually a very good conspiracy, like, it was more of a local legend of like giants that live in the tunnels under Malta. Um, I'd be happier to believe that before I believed all this stuff. Listen, again, as I've said, the chances of there being a sentient species of dinosaur or whatnot decently high. Maybe sentient reptilian beings decently high. Why are they not coming? They've had a lot more time to like develop than us, and if they have a secret underground civilization, maybe they just don't want to be disturbed. But by now they would have, started. Like, they've seen human capacity for war, so you're probably going to want to take that out before they discover you big time. I don't know. Like there's some story. The stories I'm more likely to believe is the reptilian stories from Vietnam, which are from military personnel, and they're far fewer. He hasn't really given us any reptilian stories, ironically. The thing you have to realize: all the weird conspiracy kooks hang out together. Their fans watch all of them, and as a result, you get a weird smushed up combo of all the conspiracy theories rolled into one. Very true. You could absolutely live underground in my area and would absolutely come across a lot of reptiles while there. I live in Tucson, Arizona. I think AZ means Arizona. I have lizards running around all the side. I don't want to pay taxes. Yeah, exactly. Lizards live underground because they don't want to pay taxes. And reptilians in tunnels. I don't know about that. Viet Cong, on the other hand, well, could be argued the Viet Cong were, reptilians because they were communist.
Dimensional awareness outside of our biological abilities to sense them. We all know that our
Right, wait. So we've gone from there might be some smart reptilians living underground to they're fourth dimensional beings that we can't detect. So, if they're fourth dimensional beings that we can't detect, how come you're claiming we can see them? The guy's
five senses are very limited compared to the
up.
spectrum of reality that can be picked up. And it is said that these creatures live within a dimension of space in which we can't see. Tales of impossibility, which helps bring to light something very interesting.
He is very well read. He's just read a lot of weird stuff.
That mathematics has proven that there are 11 spatial dimensions. We are aware of 3 spatial dimensions. How'd you do that anyway? How'd you get that petrified?
We used salt.
Salt. Okay, so pink salt. We ate the crawdaddy.
Don't say that anymore. You should actually cut that out.
Why?
He says daddy.
Crawdaddy?
He said daddy, yeah.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
2023.
2023? Why can't I say crawdaddy?
Daddy now. It's like a sugar daddy. Now. So, like, you shouldn't say that in 2023.
Okay, I won't say crawdaddy, but I will say that Tom Holland's name is actually being pronounced wrong whenever it should be pronounced daddy. What do you think?
They were referring to the
Crawdads.
Viet Cong as reptilians. Oh well, apparently we're telepathic as well now. Listen, I am actually telepathic. I can read the minds of all conspiracy theorists, and they all sound like this. I'm joking, to be fair. There are some, like the term conspiracy theorist was actually brought in by the CIA specifically to try and downplay it. So some conspiracy theories do have, good reasoning behind them, and all of those conspiracy theories normally have something to do with the amount of power the government has, not reptilians.
That wasn't the crawdad speaking. That was
Yeah, it is.
If you become a ventriloquist, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't even know.
There's four spatial dimensions, and physics has proven that. Also, anyone can write a book. Literally anyone. Doesn't take a single qualifications. They have minds. Exactly.
That is.
Do you think that sentient creatures can exist outside of our awareness, outside of our 5 senses?
We have more than 5 senses.
How many senses do we have?
36.
36 senses?
Yeah.
In the West, we say that we have 5 senses. In the East, though, they say...
In the West, we have 5 senses. Pulls up a diagram of the 6th sense. Sight, touch, taste, hearing, smell. mind. So he's actually saying the scientifically correct thing with the 5 senses, and then pulling up a diagram of 6 senses, talking about your 6th sense. A mind isn't a sense, unless you're talking about spiritual, and like your soul is stored in the mind or another part of the body, and the mind is.
Maybe have 6
Okay.
senses because they consider mind
Kid
to be
had to
a sense.
Yeah, the kids.
Oh, yeah,
the kids
it
got
is.
good taste in shirt.
I think so too.
What? Reptilian brain, middle brain, new brain. Does anyone know anything about brains that can explain what that even means?
So there's different
I
parts
know I've heard reptilian brain before. It's like the base instinct, isn't it? His son has more common sense than him.
of the mind, so those are different senses in the mind.
True. In which case, it's worth noting that maybe a separate sense happens whenever we feel things within. That's fine. Speaking of these spatial dimensions that we can't see but can prove mathematically, expanding upon this idea of, just use scissors, there being multiple or in any case, in infinite dimensions in which our human biology can't pick up on. Expounding upon that is a great book, The Holographic Universe. This is one of the first books to actually dive into the subject, and it's a must-have for anybody's esoteric library. What's interesting about the combination...
Having an esoteric library is probably not a brag I would want to have. Like, my library is, I will admit, mostly fiction. And it's one, bookshelf. It's mostly fiction, but there's a lot of history books on there. Again, as I've said in all of these live streams where we're looking at conspiracy theories, do ask the questions. You should always ask the questions of your superiors, the people ruling over you, so that they don't get one over you. But then when you get answers, you shouldn't be mad at what you're getting. And again, as Paul Spencer says, anyone can write a book. Anyone can write a book. I would like to see the qualifications of the authors of these books. Fun fact: Thoery once had 12 tribes inhabit the island, which is why it has a 12-pointed star on its flag. That's very cool. Very similar to the 12 tribes of Israel. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Mind isn't a sense. There's been an awful lot of very well done science that proves that. Exactly.
Of us factually knowing that there's 11 spatial dimensions are living within.
All I'm like, I'll give playing devil's advocate. Like, we don't really understand consciousness. We don't really understand. I actually saw one, he was one of the guys actually studying it, and it was an interview he did, and he actually was like, to be honest, as far as we know, consciousness could be like streamed into the brain the same way like visuals are streamed onto a computer, or the same way you're watching me on your phone or your computer right now, and that's being streamed to your phone, like, and then the phone's relaying the image, sort of thing. There's obviously no scientific truth, but the argument of that is we know next to nothing about human consciousness. We know next to nothing about animal consciousness. We are animals because of evolution. Like, we know next to nothing about how what consciousness is, how it works, how it functions. Like, is our consciousness having an effect on the brain? Does the brain have an effect on our consciousness? Where is the consciousness? Is like, there's a lot of questions about consciousness we have very, very rudimentary understanding for. So there is a gap in knowledge there. Doesn't mean we're all telepathically communicating with reptiles. Or living in a holographic universe. I didn't even know we still had the simulation for Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that it was probable that we lived in a simulation was probably one of the worst interviews ever, because the conspiracy theorists took that and ran with it. It's proof from maths that shows 1 + 1 = 3. So maths can be manipulated to do anything. It's the evidence that proves reality, and he's entirely misunderstood that simple bit of critical thinking. Exactly. I'm really annoyed I gave this guy a lot of credit for critical thinking earlier on, because he's really, really decided to screw me over by saying that. Even computers write books, and they never cite their sources. Exactly.
in a reality that is not able to be understood by us in our biological form. That's new science. What is old science though? Old science though is guys like King Solomon, demons or daemons. To your left, there are tens of thousands to your right, and alluded to the idea that we are in reality completely surrounded by sentient beings all of the time. But sentience permeates our reality. Within this reality is beings that we just can't see any more than an ant can see us.
Again, the idea of obviously higher dimensions, like fourth and fifth, like, yes, there could be beings that would be in that dimension and you wouldn't be able to perceive them, just as a 2D being wouldn't be able to perceive us. That is entirely possible. And it has been used in an explanation as to how people sometimes see demons and stuff, and like it's them bringing down to our level, or angels and whatnot. Like the angel demon hypothesis, like how people say, how people see angels and demons sometimes because they come down. How people see these magical creatures like Alex Jones machine elves type stuff. The issue is taking that as 100% fact when we don't understand the science behind it fully is very, very dangerous, because it leads you to a line of thinking where, again, I'm going to go back to that old quote, don't open up your mind so much that your brain falls out. We are learning about that, though. We have a basic map of the brain. We just need to develop the key understand consciousness and actuality functions. This is very likely to come with time. Again, agreed. My personal belief is that consciousness is somehow separate to the brain. Obviously, I have no proof of that, and so I'm not going to say it as fact. That's why I say personal belief. I have a funny feeling that consciousness is separate, like, to the brain, and the brain affects consciousness. It's like it is an extra tool. It's not a sense. It's like that's saying like the liver or the heart are a sense. Even if that is true, and my uneducated guess proves to be true, that would just make the brain another organ that the consciousness is utilizing. Like the idea of, does brain generate consciousness, or just the consciousness generate how the brain works? If that makes sense. The whole thing with consciousness is because there's a gap in it. Conspiracy theorists really do run wild with it because it's the easiest thing to do. We need to finish this up. We've been streaming.
If you blow on the ant, it senses that as wind. It's not going to think to itself, a person
I'm fairly certain that the ant that you're holding and then in front of and blowing can probably tell that you're generating the wind. I have one thing to say. We have an enormous atom smashing is not detected a single suggestion that any other realm or energy spectrum exists. The idea of heaven and hell is, the only thing I sit there with religion, like, with the existence of God and the existence of heaven and hell, I think it would be outside of our current realm of understanding. I think it would be extra dimensional. How, like, would we be able to detect it is a separate question in itself, one that I'm nowhere near educated enough to understand and or answer efficiently. It's difficult. It's a difficult question to answer. It also depends on your depiction of heaven and hell, and also, like, is it just another area of space? Is it another dimension? Stuff like that. I'm actually planning to have various religions on in a theological discussion: Norse pagan, Hindu, and various Christian sects. And they will be coming out. I was going to do one big panel, but I'm realizing it'll be more efficient to ask people one by one and like dig into those religions specifically. Not in a like debunk the religion or like prove the religion, like an actual question how the religion works and how they could like bring stuff forward. Yeah, my views on religion have changed very much from my very hardcore Reddit atheist days.
Make your own jokes if you want about that little.
really perfectly timed me finishing my sentence, just making jokes about me used to being already atheist.
Slip up. But just like those ants, we have to put down our ego for long enough to admit that we might also be of a lower dimensional frequency. We can't perceive a vast array of the universe around us, and that includes sentient life. If I was to hypothesize, the idea that we can see ants, but they can't really
I really hope this music isn't copyrighted.
see us, so to speak,
Ants can see us. They're in the same three-dimensional plane as us.
tells me that these beings, if they are in fact not of flesh and blood origin, but of more of a spiritual origin.
Agreed. Yes. Like the actual idea for it was originally going to be a panel with Aiden Mattis. Hello, Josh, over on TikTok. The original panel was like it was gonna be me and Aiden Mattis, and we're gonna lead it and like dive into religious. But I'm gonna do it myself on like 1-to-1 levels. Like looking at Judaism, looking at various sects, Christianity, looking at Norse paganism, looking at Hinduism. My Norse pagan guest will be. I had them on. I think they're called the Pagan Couple podcast. And it will be the Norse pagan husband and the Hindu wife, I believe. Unless I've got their religions mixed up, in which case they'll be very rude of me. But yeah, I think it's interesting to explore because every story does have its foundations in an original truth. It's also interesting, especially between Norse paganism and Hinduism, because they actually do have a lot of striking similarities because of the migrations of the Indo-European peoples. Yeah, as I've grown older, I've fallen out of atheism because I realised I was as close-minded as the religious people I was arguing against. So it's one of those things where I have myself, through personal experience, come to believe in God. Do I believe in the stuff that Bible says? Not as much. I believe that a lot of that is metaphorical. Do I like again, it's something I'm diving into myself, and it's an own personal journey, and it's one of those things I wouldn't then go out on YouTube and say this is absolute fact, because it's not. It's something to look into and study, and it's not really something you can prove or disprove, which is the issue with a lot of religion, especially in the modern day and age, and you need more physical proof. So you're looking at more at proving events in the Bible. I recommend the Weird Bible podcast of Aidan Mattis and Wendigoon for that sort of stuff, because they're far more educated in it. The trouble with Norse paganism is that most of the beliefs and traditions were lost, and it's the modern version is basically invented. Same thing with Celtic paganism. Celtic paganism more so. Norse paganism, we do have a lot of traditions left because again, they were picked up not too far after, but there is a lot of guesswork. Whereas Celtic paganism is basically eviscerated and it was too far back. So all of the sources we have come from Romans and/or Christians who hated them. So Celtic paganism is very much lost to time because it was also not written down at all. It was all oral tradition, whereas we're slowly able to build up more and more of our image of Norse paganism. I will also say that religions evolve over time. So, like, the modern Christianity is nowhere near what ancient Christianity was. Yeah. This is very deep. I love how not one of these podcasts has stayed on topic,
so to speak, or maybe are a physical nature but just live within the compounds of a larger frequency of vibration of reality. We have to admit that it very well could be that we are the ants in this case and they are the people. And then there's the whole rabbit hole about government and reptilian shapeshifters, in which case
that what he's arguing there does have some common sense to it, that there is a high chance that there is beings that have evolved in another plane of existence in a fourth or a fifth dimension. Does that mean that they're controlling our government? Yeah, it's possible. Does it mean it's there's no way to prove or disprove that? It's very similar to religions. Why I sort of shift into religion a little bit. Like that it's very hard unless we can find a way to move up to a fourth or fifth dimension, which could be something we evolve into at a later stage, or if that's even possible, we could be doomed in a little three-dimensional prison. So it's yeah, I don't like speaking that as fact. I think it's good to question, but yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with you. Everything in Celtic paganism is invented. There's basically nothing left from the original tradition. Which is sad, really. It's the UK's national original native religion. Celtic paganism. Obviously, there was various forms of it across Europe. So the different forms. But bearing in mind, the migrations into the UK are very interesting to me because you have the beak there. So there's possibly another culture, and I could be wrong here. There's possibly another culture that came to the British Isles first, especially around the time Doggerland was a thing. Then you have the Beaker people, who I know for definite were on the UK before the Celts, and then obviously you have the Celts, and it's the classic tale of did they wipe the Beakers out, or did they intermingle with them, or was it a mixture of both? And then obviously you have the Romans, and then you have the Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, and then you have the Norse, Danes, and Swedes. So the migrations to the UK are a very interesting process, and they all had very similar things to them. Which is sad. So yeah, I think we've so much lost history. I think we have like 1% of our history recorded. I think it's a number that I think it's a scarily low number like that.
I've seen zero compelling evidence of this. I could be wrong.
Okay, cool. See, this guy flits between saying sensible stuff and like weird stuff.
But that's just where I'm at right now with that whole thing. My last video, this Gateways of the CIA, delve into Dr. John Monroe's actual 35-year study of these reptilian creatures that occurred to most of the participants in the CIA-funded Gateway process, as well as Dr. John Monroe himself. These occurrences with non-human intelligent beings are not rare. In fact, it is said that upwards of 70...
If you go far enough back, as you say, Dogland was directly connected to Europe, there was no barrier to culture exchange. Yeah, exactly.
% of people who have experienced these otherworldly events and creatures don't come forward. 70.
So Trip Ainsworth, who's just published his 11th book, I believe, as of the other day. You should definitely check it out. In the 11th book in the Smoke Pit Fairy Tale series. He pointed out that the neural patterns from people in the West who are abducted by aliens, it's the exact same neural patterns of people in the East who are abducted by sea witches. Like the exact same phenomena, the brain reacts the exact same way. So I was going with a point of that. I can't remember what he said to trigger me into it.
% which worldly events
and the other worldly events. So people experiencing, I'm not saying that they didn't happen. I'm not saying that the trauma a lot of these alien abductees experienced didn't happen, and it's not very real trauma. Even if they imagine the entire thing, the trauma is very, very, very real to them. I would rather see, which, yeah, I personally, from some of the horrific alien abduction stories, like I, as a kid, had horrific, I still like to sleep with the light on because I'm deeply uncomfortable sleeping in the dark. Not because I have a fear of the dark. It's just my brain, like I'm restless. If that makes sense. I'm more uncomfortable. So I would also probably agree. I'd rather the sea witch. Yeah, but but again, you get the sexual encounters with the sea witch, and you get the aliens like extracting semen and eggs, and doing horrific reproductive experiments and stuff. So it's very weird, unless it's just the interpretation. Maybe something else is going on in a higher dimension that we're seeing, or maybe everyone's having a massive shared hallucination. Again, not attacking the trauma that these people claim. As I've seen a lot of people who try and debunk it go, and it's no, it's all fake, you're crazy. I think that's unfair. It's because even if it is imagined, the traumatic process is still ingrained in their lived experience. So it's not fair to completely poo-poo it.
And creatures don't come forward. 70%, which makes me kind of realize.
How do you know 70% people don't come forward? because you would have to ask 70%. You'd have to ask everyone. Perhaps something like a trip caused by the brain naturally producing DMT during some form of it. That's true. There's some form of fit. Because DMT is the one that's released into our brains like just before we die and stuff like that, which scientifically is like the last ditch attempt of the brain to figure out how to survive. But then also some people are like, maybe it's projecting our consciousness.
Something.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the people who don't come forward and the people who do? Dr. John Mack is responsible for an entire field of psychology that is just meant to help anonymous people who have had these strange occurrences and can't describe them.
So, could we make that bomb at some point, maybe?
Yeah, we'll make a bomb. Sure.
What?
All right, get out of here. Sentience permeates matter. And in fact, we know that sentience comes before matter, so biological form,
Bro just
the
casually
reality
said we'll make a bomb.
that we perceive is...
When was this published? 1st July 2023. Okay, well, he hasn't done anything major yet. Gonna kill us all to prove the alien reptile.
a fractal of conscious sentience.
But to be fair, guys, I'm fairly confident we might be safe with whatever bomb he builds.
Consciousness, that primordial first cause, fractaled out into infinite possibilities,
Trust me,
creating
bro. Literally,
separate
this entire
dimensions
video
and different kinds of life forms and biological.
Is that what father-son bonding is? To be fair, building a rocket ship or something, anything that explodes, to be fair, sounds quite fun.
Entities that sense the universe and the world around them in different ways. In the same way that a clam cannot see the way that we see with eyes, it does see. And
very unfortunate human being. They've why are they throwing up a peace sign? Like, yeah.
taken reality, however, in a completely different way than we do. It's all of a sudden not so weird to think about the fact that modern day science seems to back up the ideals that we are surrounded by sentient beings that sometimes penetrate into our
book. That sounds like a French name. That sounds like a French name. Everything he says is like immediately wrong. Don't even need to scientifically check that. It's a French name.
By sentient beings that sometimes penetrate into our 3D reality. Back in the day, Solomon called them angels and demons, and so did everyone else. Today, we call them aliens or extraterrestrials. In the Middle Ages, they were called fairies. The list goes on, you know. Depending on the era and time and culture, they're called different things, but they're always sort of described the same way. Introduce Dr.
There he is! Of course, he's here. Of course, he's here. I cannot escape Graham Hancock. I cannot escape this man. God damn it.
Dr. Pickles?
Yeah.
Dr. Pickles himself is actually a fourth dimensional creature as well. We're lucky enough to have him here in our reality.
Yeah, and then he muted our stuff.
Audio.
Yeah.
So show him Dr. Pickles is a Zen master. We can prove it because look at this white beard. He's got a super
That cat does not want to be on this camera.
mustache.
Oh, if I switch.
Even though
Oh,
he's
sorry,
like
hang
a
on.
couple months old.
He's only a couple.
Sorry, I flicked the switch in my excitement. Let me go back. I don't know what you missed that. Sorry. We have experienced technical difficulties. But yeah, what I got excited about is Graham Hancock's books. Load of Graham Hancock's books here. Cannot escape Graham Hancock.
Dr. Pickles.
Yeah.
Dr. Pickles.
All right, we're gonna
We can prove it because look at this
alleged.
mustache.
Yeah, even though he's like a couple months old.
He's only a couple months old. Very playful. He's got a very loud purr too. But I love the way he looks because he looks like one of them ancient gurus, ancient guru type man.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time to wrap up this video, Dr. Pickles.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we'll leave it at that. We covered a lot of ground today, and if you guys have any suggestions on other humanoid creatures that need to be covered or details about these stories that have slipped. This is kind of a paranormal type of video. If you guys are more of fans of the esoteric and alchemical subjects that we cover, like the Gnostic thought stuff, let me know what your favorite is, because I'm planning on kind of dishing out a little bit of both. Yeah, it's at the end.
Alright. This is the end right now?
This is the end. We're done.
Hug goodbye. Alright, cut the camera.
Alright, it's cut.
Wait, so what's the main thing? Is this just a clip of his next video? Travis Walton's story is very interesting. It's very strong eyewitness testimony. I do want to dive into Travis Walton, but that will be in this actual video when I actually get time to do videos. Like I say, I'm working on historic cinema breakdown of the whale and its meanings, and then looking at selkies and stuff like that. So we'll dive into that, but yeah, this reaction. This is just a random bit of Travis Walton. Okay, cool. My take on all of this. I feel like he didn't actually cover much of anything, except he likes to talk a lot. Exactly, it all felt very Saber-Tooth Tiger. I will look into the Saber-Tooth Tiger and Smilodon, but it will be on a different day. That's why I've got it on Discord, so I can actually dive into it. Because I like to. I've got to have some. You know, I've got to keep on topic somehow. But I will look into the Smilodon for you. Actually, I'll make sure I've definitely got video. Look at the Discord. Yes. Okay. All right. I will dive into that for you. I might do that next week. Which is the entire scientific world legitimately which is why the entire scientific world legitimately dislikes man. He spews so much scientific stuff into the books that causes people like this to exist. Agreed. Listen again, as Lawlodge, you've done a couple really good videos. The archaeology Minuteman have done a couple really good videos on Graham Hancock. Graham Hancock asks the right questions. Like there's holes in our understanding of the world, and we should investigate them. The issue with Graham Hancock is very similar to Eric von Daniken, where they've come to the conclusion and they're looking for evidence, whereas you should look for evidence and then come to the conclusion. And so Graham Hancock has seen a couple bits that maybe point to an ancient hyper-advanced civilization, and then looked for more evidence to back that up, when he should have started looking at loads of evidence and gone, wow, what came before? Like there wasn't a world-spanning empire and stuff. I watched them all and found you via them. It's very good. I do want to do collabs with Mini Mint Man at some point if I can get a hold of him. The Law Lodge guys are very good because they don't they do the sort of, they let you make up your mind stuff. It's why I like a lot of Aiden's work. Is he's not forceful with the it is or it isn't stuff. Mini Minute Man is very much on the cynical skeptic side, but that's just as good. I don't like it as much when it's 100% skeptical. I do like some little bit of questioning, but like I say with Graham Hancock, he asks the right questions, but he's just obsessed with the outcome. He's got the same as Eric von Daniken and every other ancient astronaut hypothesis person. When I was younger, I used to be very much in the ancient astronaut sphere, and I was convinced that all of the religions of the world were wrong because it was all aliens, and it was like this way of explaining why religions existed to me. And it was actually fueled by atheism, and I don't like to go down the route of it all being racist and stuff, because you're never going to, if you're someone that believes in the ancient apocalypse stuff or the ancient astronaut stuff, if you run at them saying that it's all racist and it's just a way to make white man look good, you're going to push that person away, and they're not going to listen to you, because in their head it might not, some of the stuff that Graham Hancock comes out with is very sus. It does sound a little bit on a racist side. But the average follower of that is probably not going to sit along that, and so if you use that argument, it's not going to work, and they're going to double down on it. So he asks the right questions, but he doesn't accept the answers when they're wrong. And Aidan Mattis especially has pointed out where he, especially with the Incan civilization, where he's just completely wrong in places because he's come to this conclusion and he's so obsessed with it that everything has to fit into it. Exactly like Christiana, he has a vapid and empty mind. He did a lot of talking in circles. Exactly, I've watched him all and I found him all. Thank you for watching us all. Actually, Mattis is a lot taller than I thought he would be. I still look forward to the day I meet Mattis. Found you from Aiden. I need to give Aiden more credit. Like Aiden, like I say, the reason I have any platform at all is because Aiden found me making joke videos on TikTok about Alexander the Great. Yeah, just check the TikTok chat. TikTok's probably tied down now. TikTok's not pushing my stuff as much as it was on the live streams. It gets a little bit more upset with me. TikTok prefers it if you go full conspiracy theorist, if I'm honest. Yeah. I'm gonna agree with a lot of what the chat's saying. He just spoke in circles. He didn't cover reptilians, which, like, that's one of the key things. Astral Hypothesis, he briefly touched on the CIA. This is literally, this entire title is just as many keywords as possible. So there's not a lot. He's not great with British history, but his American Native history is absolutely bang on. Yeah, very true. Me and Aiden have had discussions about British. It's the same as I'm not very good with American history, but I'm much better with British history, particularly the Anglo-Saxon stuff. So it's just reversal, and it's where you grew up, I suppose. There's not a lot for me to debunk because he didn't say a lot. Like, he never really covered much. Obviously, the things I would say that early on when he was giving hard evidence, people taking money for interviews is incredibly suspect, but I also understand when you start talking about aliens and that, you end up in a cycle where you have to take the money because no one else will hire you because they think you're crazy. It goes back to, like, again, treating people who say they've been abducted by aliens or sea witches or whatever with humility because they have had a traumatic experience, either imagined or not. If you're hallucinating being chased by a werewolf, you're still going to have the horrific memory of thinking you're about to be eaten by a werewolf. Doesn't matter if it was real or not. To you it was. So, like, to get the information out of someone, you need to be still kind of caring. And obviously, people are ridiculed because it breaks the normality. And there is obviously the 1 in 100 chance that they did have a weird experience with lights in the sky and little green men or whatever. You know, they could have very easily been drunk in France. But yeah, so, like, obviously a lot of the people he was using as sources, like the doctor, the firefighter, very suspect again to me because where's the names? He did give the name of that officer to start from another video, which I don't know if I want to sit through another one. Yeah, I don't think. I do have a Joe Rogan one, but considering this has been a 2-hour live stream, I don't know if I want to sit through another 15 minutes of that, so I might just do that as a separate one. The Joe Rogan one might be a bit more well laid out, maybe. I don't know. I don't watch Joe Rogan too much. I just see occasional clips. But yeah, my purview of this is something did crash land in Brazil. The most likely answer is it was a Brazilian training exercise gone wrong, and that was what was covered up. Is because no government wants to look bad, and so they were testing maybe a new bit of gear, and so it was covered up. And the easiest way to cover it up is to get people to talk about aliens. That's where I sit. Because it was clearly an event. People are talking about something, but also it's easy to let your imagination go wild. Like, how many times you've seen a police car at the end of the street or something, or like being out and about, go, oh, I bet there's a, like, everyone goes, oh, I bet there's a murder happened or something like that. Your brain goes to the most exciting answer because your brain craves excitement. It craves that storytelling. Every person is a natural storyteller. So, like, my job in a lot of my videos is taking historical or mythological moments and then telling it in an effective story. That's like, I don't like to call myself a historian because I'm not a trained historian. I'm, by trade, I'm trained in film and television, and that was why I studied at uni. So I always tell myself as a storyteller because I'm taking the information that I'm being provided with and then I'm telling it to you as a story which human beings are wired to understand. We're wired to understand stories far better. But yeah. Any more questions before I disappear? And get them in now, and I will finish them off. Don't forget, guys, actually, because you guys are all found me for Aiden, make sure you're watching a Lore Lodge live tonight. I don't know who their guest is tonight, or if they're doing it solo one again, but yeah. I actually need to watch the last Lore Lodge video. I didn't miss this week's. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, okay, if there's no further questions, I'm going to leave it there, guys, on TikTok and on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I know you have to, Pumpkin Bear, because you're the mod for both me and the Lore Lodge. You get to join. Yeah, you get to join. So you can have a chat with Pumpkin Bear over on the Lore Lodge as well tonight. There'll be, I think it's midnight GMT. I don't know what it is. Like 7 p.m. ET Eastern Time, Eastern Standard Time, EST. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I've got my intro out. But yeah, yeah, thank you, HD. Thank you very much for being here. But yeah, all I'll say, guys, to that is ask questions, but don't go believing in esoteric reptile people. Okay, right. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Yeah, 6 p.m. CST if you want another time zone in, guys. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.